you get a lot of static from your friends. It's human nature. Humans have no nature. Depends on where they're brought up. Every book written in this culture is culture bound. It has nothing to do with reality. It's where this culture is. So what I'm going to try to tell you is that 90% of what you've been brought up to believe in is strictly bullshit. So when I was a kid, I want to know what men and women would be like if they weren't too contaminated by civilization. So I worked my way on a boat to Tahiti, but the Chinese already owned all the businesses there. They had business out of the stores, and that was already contaminated. So I found some out islands called Tuamotu. When I was on the islands, I brought mirrors and beads. I was going to give them to the natives to show I come as a friend, not to take anything away from them. But they were already in my thatched hut after I built it, giving out my mirrors and beads to one another without my permission. And I was a little confused. So I said, well, what's going on here? And they said, you have too many. I really did. I really didn't understand it because I was a jerk brought up in a civilized country. But about 3 days later, I did understand it. The older men were pulling in nets full of fish, and they threw fish to anyone standing there. Not you owe me $1. You owe me $3. They just threw fish. And coconuts were so available, and bananas, that nobody sold anything. They just gave you things. After I was on the island a while, I asked the natives if they would help me build an outrigger canoe. I know how to build one better than they do, but I wanted to establish, I come as like one of you. They got in a huddle and didn't say a thing, and they left. About a week later, they brought a canoe over and put it down from my thatched hut. They just said, it's for you, for your use. So I said, well, what do you want? Do you want me to do anything for you? No, they didn't know what that meant. What do you want? I brought that with me from where I came. They didn't want anything. A week and a half later, I heard some rustling outside my thatched hut, and I looked out, and they were sneaking off with the canoe they gave me. I didn't understand that, so I stepped out and I said, what's going on? They said, you no use. It's true, I didn't use it, so they took it back. Of course, I was a little confused, but I got to understand all that later. And they were sane in many ways, saner than we are. I wanted you to understand that people reflect their culture. If people have access to the necessities of life without servitude, debt, barter, trade, they behave very differently.